Hey guys, how are you? Welcome into a Tuesday morning edition of the Daily Juice podcast with me, Matt Perrault at Sports Talk Matt on Twitter to follow me, BettingPros at BettingPros to follow them on Twitter. You know about the title sponsor right now, right? BetMGM. Have you used the offer yet? You guys in Illinois, newbies coming in, you guys can use this. If you've not signed up for an account yet, it is easy. New account, you use the promo code JUICE150, $150 into your account. BetMGM.com, BetMGM, not available in Nevada. Juice 150, $10 bet, get you that 150. All right, 2-0 last night. Good night. Under comes in with the Bulls. We get the Memphis Grizzlies to hammer the Warriors. That game was a laugher. Always fun. I had a couple of live bets. Celtics were plus 7.5. What the hell was that? Like, come on. They went to overtime with Toronto. Yes, please. I mean, Boston's been killing everyone. Even if, Robert Williams was out, Jaylen Brown was out, Tatum was out, didn't matter. Boston goes to overtime with Toronto. They lose, but they cover that 7.5 points. Thank you very much. That was a gift from the sports books, in my opinion. Had a couple of live bets that came in. Memphis was down all the way down to 5.5 live against the Warriors. They won the game going away. Live wagering right now in the NBA is the way to go. But I got 3 bets for you here for the NBA coming up for tonight. 2-0 last night in the association. Let's keep with it here. End of the year. Maybe some easier games to jump into, some easier games to handicap and to bet as we head towards the home stretch, if you will, coming up here for the NBA. So before we do that, let me tell you about our good friends at Omaha Steaks. They're back. The spring sale is going on. Site-wide semi-annual sale that they get into. 50% off everything. Everything. Steaks, fillets, sides, desserts, everything right now. OmahaSteaks.com. Type in juice in the search bar. Go and order. And if you order the Omaha Sampler, they're going to give you 12 free Omaha Steak burgers with your order. Head to OmahaSteaks.com. Enter juice into the search bar. Take advantage of this great deal going on right now. 100% satisfaction guaranteed, backed by Omaha Steaks. Check it out. OmahaSteaks.com. Type in juice in the search bar. 50% off site-wide with the semi-annual sale going on right now. That's OmahaSteaks.com. Keyword juice to jump on in. All right. So we have how many games tonight? We've got 5 games. Okay. Let's start with the Lakers up against the Dallas Mavericks. Lakers are a mess. Lakers have been a mess. Number's 11.5. I want no part of that. Okay. I want no part of a game where if LeBron throws it on, they could win the game outright. Don't want any part of the number. However, the Dallas Mavericks against the Western Conference, 30-18-1 to the under. The Dallas Mavericks at home are a redonkulous 28-9-1 to the under at home. Lakers are 21-15 to the over. Lakers are 4-1 to the over and 7-3 over the last 10 to the over. So I think the public's going to bet the over. I don't think this number is going to crash, but it might. Last night, the Bulls number crashed by 5 points. We bet 223.5, closed at 218.5. Just the bottom fell out of that thing. Don't think that's going to happen here again tonight unless LeBron is ruled out, but I can't see LeBron being ruled out given the fact that the Lakers might miss the playoffs entirely. Like, not the play-in tournament. Like, they might miss the playoffs. 15 teams, they may not get in. It's wild, but it's very possible that they could be one of the 5 teams in the Western Conference not making the postseason. So I think it's a little dangerous to fade the Lakers here when they're catching 11.5 points. But 218.5, if you go and look at the run right now for this team and the Dallas Mavericks, they are 8-2 over the last 10 to the under. Against Utah, 216, under by 2. 228 against Minnesota, under by 17. 218.5 against Houston, under by 17.5. 228.5 against Minnesota, under 10.5. Charlotte did go over, but Philadelphia, 216.5, went under by 4.5 points. Brooklyn went over, but the previous 4 games set at 213, under by 26 points. 227, under by 14 points. 216, under by 32 points. We live bet the last time the Jazz played. When the Jazz played against the Mavericks, we had a live in-game wager. I gave you guys out during the Discord channel. I was like, go ahead and jump on this 2 days ago. It was going under, and it did. Went way under. Well, I guess I went under by 2 points, but it got there. It went under, so we hit. Going under. Half a unit here. We're going under 218.5 for the Dallas and LA Laker game here today for a half a unit. Now, other half a unit. Chicago's in action again. Chicago against Washington. So when we're betting one thing and we're cashing, we're not stopping. Hell no. Chicago in the under. Chicago on the year is 38, 35, and 2 to the under. Now, Washington is one of the best over teams in the NBA at 40, 33, and 1. However, 2 of the last 5 have gone over. 6 and 4 to the over, but at home, Washington's been really good, 23, 13, and 1. But you can't overlook Chicago's number against the conference. 27, 19, and 1 now against teams from the Eastern Conference. It's consistent. As this goes down, we see a consistent time where these things are just going under. I don't know how you bet an over with the Bulls, in particular with the Bulls and what happened in the last game for the Bulls. The Bulls now, that game went under by 5 points. 218 it closed at, went under by 5. Cleveland, 223, went under by 31 points. And then 3 of the previous 4 games also went under. This Bulls team is not scoring. This Bulls team is not doing very much. And I think this is an opportunity for another underplay here, even with Washington and the fact that Washington does play to the over. But 3 of the last 4 have gone under, okay? The total in this game tonight is 224.5, okay? 224.5. 217.5 for Golden State last game out for Washington, went over by 20.5 points. But against Detroit, 223, under by 26 points. 228.5, under by 12.5 points. And against the Houston Rockets, 233.5, game went under by 21.5 points. I'm coming back here with the Bulls and the Wizards. WinBet's got this at 224.5 right now. Jump on this under. Chicago at Washington. Going with the under again. Under 224.5 for the Bulls in Washington. Hopefully this number doesn't crash like the number did last night. Maybe it will. Maybe the public will come in on it. But I'm going with Chicago in Washington under 224.5 here for a half a unit. All right, one more play to give you. Detroit's taking on Brooklyn. Number's 13. All right. This number, 13.5. Sorry, it's climbing. 13.5 at WinBet right now. Detroit is 40, 33, and 2 ATS. Brooklyn's 30, 43, and 2 ATS. At home, and I know Kyrie hasn't played very much. 8, 27, and 1 at home against the spread for the Brooklyn Nets. I get it. I mean, you look at the fact they played against Charlotte. They lost by 9. That was supposed to be like, hey, here comes Kyrie at home. Didn't play well, right? Didn't look good. Maybe they bounce back. However, Detroit's been great against the number this year and great on the road. 19, 17, and 1 against the number. Against the conference, Detroit is 29, 17, and 1 ATS here, and they're catching 13.5 points from the Brooklyn Nets. Look, I just think when you go through some of these numbers, they were 4.5 against New York. They lost by 2. They were catching 5 against Atlanta. They won by 21. They were catching 14 against Miami. They lost by 7. They were catching 14 against Boston. They lost by 11. They were catching 10.5 against Charlotte. They won by 1. They were catching 12.5 against Boston. They lost by 9. They were catching 12 against Boston. They won by 1. I mean, you look at the last time this team has been double-digit dogs. They're 4-0 ATS. The last 5 times they've been double-digit dogs this team has covered. Pistons have been a machine here when they're catching big points. I'm taking the points. Detroit plus 13.5 against the Brooklyn Nets for a half a unit. All right, 3 bets in play here for us going tonight. We're taking the under 224.5 for the Bulls and the Wizards. We're taking the under for 218.5 for the Lakers and the Mavericks, and we're taking the 13.5 points for the Pistons here up against the Brooklyn Nets. All 3 bets for a half a unit. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt each and every morning. It's the Daily Juice Podcast. I was being brought to you by BetMGM.